Alright, I think it's time for another Assassin's Creed Origins news roundup, because there's been a lot more news released recently, and there's also been another gameplay demo, so I'm going to be going over all this today. And also, I just want to start off the video by saying, fuck the IGN first shit. I'm just going to use the gameplay in this video. I've seen plenty of people use the gameplay and they haven't got flagged for shit, so I'm going to use the IGN first gameplay in this video. But if you do want to see the uncut raw footage, I'm still going to leave it in the description. Obviously, it's IGN first and all that good stuff. I thought I'd say this in the video just in case, you know, they want to flag me and shit. As always, I'm going to start with the smaller pieces of news and then kind of go on to the bigger ones so I can talk more about them in the video. This is not going to be as long as the other one because there is overall less news, but it is going to be a nice little roundup nonetheless, so let's get straight into it. This first bit of information actually suggests that there will be multiple time periods that we will be seeing in Assassin's Creed Origins, which is kind of cool. Obviously, Bayek is the main protagonist, and the game was predominantly set in ancient Egypt, but I reckon it'll be like 1 or 2 missions that we play in these different time periods. So the characters that we'll be seeing in these 2 time periods are Darius and I don't know how to fucking pronounce that name. I have literally Diocletian. So what the fuck? Oh, okay. It's pronounced Diocletian. That's how you pronounce it. I looked it up. Okay, that's a great piece of information there. But basically, it says here, according to IMDb, actor Manolis Emmanuel is confirmed as part of the cast of Assassin's Creed Origins, playing 2 characters, Darius and Diocletian. This revelation does not only confirm the presence of the 2 characters, but suggests that there will be multiple time periods in Assassin's Creed Origins. How those will be implemented remains to be seen. So obviously, I don't know really who the fuck Diocletian is, but Darius is the more important character here because he is a member of the Persian Brotherhood of Assassins, and you know, he's a pivotal assassin. He's the first recorded user of the Hidden Blade, and you know, he is a very important character to the Assassins overall. He inspired a lot of the various different traits that Bayek actually implements into the Assassin Brotherhood from what I gather. But I think it'll be really cool to finally actually see his character in the flesh in the game, because obviously all we've seen of Darius is his statue in the Villa Auditore. We have never seen his character actually in the flesh, animated properly and being an actual character in the game. He's only ever been mentioned offhand, so I think it is going to be really cool to be able to actually see him. Now for Diocletian, he is one of the historical characters in Assassin's Creed. He's a Roman emperor from 284 to 305 AD, so you know, he was quite a significant guy. He was an emperor of Rome, which is quite cool. But yeah, the main part of this news definitely is Darius, because we've heard of him before in Assassin's Creed, and he is a very famous assassin. So this second piece of information is regarding a interview that Games TM had with Ashraf Ismail, and it's kind of regarding various different gameplay features, and this is quite a long read, guys, so get ready for this. There's a whole lot of information here, a few stuff we've already talked about, but then also shed light on new topics. I'm just going to read the whole of it for you guys. It starts off by saying, another interesting point in the article is mysticism. It is mentioned as one of the reasons why Bayek can see and fight larger than life bosses. As Ashraf stated, the game is grounded in historical reality, but will be exploring fantasy in a way that does not go against reality. In this Game TM article, it is stated that hallucinations are the reason why we see giant bosses like the serpent we see in the announcement trailer, and it's likely that we'll fight other giant bosses stated in plural. I fucking told you guys, didn't I? Didn't I tell you guys that it was a hallucination? People were like, no, it's not a hallucination, it's just a big snake, obvious. Fuck you guys, I was right, it's a fucking hallucination. Regarding the game's development, Ashraf Ismail stated that they tried to create a modern Assassin's Creed experience based on everything an Assassin's Creed game means. They wanted to explore what they could change and what the new tech can offer to present an experience that both feels new and still an Assassin's Creed experience. In Origins, the minimap of the game has been removed to encourage players to explore, to see viewpoints, to use Seno to look at the world, instead of relying on a small map to get to your objective. Bayek will also be able to scale almost any structure in the game, and his ability to climb is no longer regulated by architectural design flaws, problem solving by intuition rather than vertical pathways carved out by precisely placed bricks and handrails. The new combat system is structured based on the different types of objectives that are new, based on the fact there's a new AI system and a new quest and narrative structure. For example, you will no longer be restricted to a specific range, like 30 or 40 meters, to be able to track a target without losing him/her, or else you'll desync. The studio had to rethink what to do about this since fans hated that fact. Origins presents the world with persistent NPCs and characters that are virtualized to live within the world without the player's gaze. They have schedules to do, specific places to be at specific times. NPCs have jobs, sleep schedules, and bathroom routines. They're not just 3D models that perform one action that is only loaded when the player looks at them and stop when the player looks away, like previous games. They have their own life out in the world, and if an objective fails, the player won't need to reload, but rather wait for the next best moment, and the game will generate new scenarios and gameplay opportunities and react to your success and failure in real time. It is an example of how realistic a virtual world might be. Another example is how we get to find our targets. Some targets like to decoy in one of the cities. The player has to learn about him and his schedule, and you have to pay attention to him and his decoys, the way they're living their lives, and where they go and when. The decoys are innocent people. The open-ended play doesn't end there, as the game experience changes even if you're on the run, chasing him down. The player can choose to engage in open combat in the streets only for them to escape on a chariot and make a break for a fortress. From there, it means that your simple assassination attempt will transform into a multi-tiered stealth encounter as you try and sneak past the gaggles of enemies of a far higher level than you are. The combat has improved drastically from Syndicate. Another aspect for the more open-ended design is that it doesn't feature missions in a traditional sense. Objectives used to feel frustrating due to the fact that you often desync because they were largely built around to be played in one way, and the deviation from that would make the game punish you. Origins, however, is more about choice and control, so it's going to be the first Assassin's Creed to feature a quest-based structure. Players can now make choices amongst a large variety of meaningful main and side quests, and you will have to prioritize which ones to do first, or pick up multiple quests and have them all available simultaneously and decide their order and priority. Origins will not only focus on the story of the Brotherhood of the Assassins, but on the stories that lie in the wider world. Combat has also evolved to get rid of the counter-attack prompt, and enemies no longer wait for their turn to attack or to be attacked, but rather all attack in a realistic manner, and the player has to focus on fight and defense at the same time. Embracing the action RPG has opened up the door for Ubisoft to do all the new gameplay variations and to add all these micro details that make fighting much deeper and more detailed than ever. You have to pay attention to your position and your enemies to be able to properly plan your next move. Fucking hell, that was a lot of fucking shit to read, but as I said, it has a lot of stuff that we already know and a lot of new things that were just shed light on in that article there. I'm going to leave a link to all of these sources in the description below just so you can read up on them if you want. There's also a little bit more information regarding the story of the game as well, and there's a little theory in the article, so I'm going to leave all these in the description below. Now, the last thing that we have to talk about is the new gameplay that was released for Assassin's Creed Origins. It was on IGN first, and it was regarding all of the various different combat styles and the various different weapons and the various different activities that are in the game. It's all about combat, basically, and Ashraf talks about the 8 archetypes of weapons and how they all affect combat in various different ways. Like dual wield swords can do bleeding damage, and they're the quickest variant of weapon. And he also talks about the different bows and how there's 4 different bows that we can use in the game, and it is a very interesting video talking all about the various different weapons. But again, weapons aren't all that interesting. We know about them already because we've heard Ashraf talk about them before, and it's overall a very simplistic design. However, one thing that was quite significant in this interview and this piece of gameplay was the arenas. He shed some more light on the arenas and talks about boss battles, and it's all genuinely cool information. It talks about how there's various different arenas around the map, and there's actually 2 very grand arenas that you can fight in that are like almost coliseums in a sense, and you can fight obviously all the different enemies and a boss in there too. He does stress about boss battles and how they want epic boss battles in the game, so each arena is going to have its own unique boss, and on top of that, as we just recently found out, there's obviously going to be a lot more mystical bosses as well. Yeah, if you guys do want to know a lot more in depth about all that, I recommend you go watch the video. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description. Ashraf commentates over the whole thing and generally gives a good summary of all of these new features. Anyway, that is the end of the video. I just wanted to bring this to you guys, summarizing all of the recent Assassin's Creed Origins gameplay and information that we've got. There's going to be a lot more of this towards the release of the game, and we're only getting closer. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead and like and subscribe for more gaming news and content in the future. Also, remember to check out yesterday's video as well, which was talking about open world games and whether or not a bigger map is better. So I'm going to leave a link to that at the end of this video, and you guys should go and check that out because it is a pretty good video if I do say so myself. Obviously, I'm gonna say so myself because it's my fucking video. Why would I fucking say it? Shit. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video.